Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.
Well, good morning, everyone, and it's another beautiful day here in VUDA Marina in Fiji. It's the 17th of June, and that's a Tuesday, which means it's half-price pizza night tonight. Every day is famous for something at the marina, and they're good pizzas, really big, lots of stuff, and super good value. So all kind of good. I'm not much good though because I don't drink beer and wine and stuff, So anyway, but the pizzas are good, and everyone's happy to see. If you're coming down to look at boats, we'll have 4 boats now because Kerry will come in this morning. Last night was a bit of fun. We finally got in touch, or he actually, once he dropped the pick out the front here, Kerry managed to get online and send us a WhatsApp and explained everything that happened. It was kind of interesting. You turned up at the entry of the Reef Pass and the lagoon, which is about 15 miles down the road, with a VHF handheld that was working, but then that went flat, and he's got a problem with his installed, main VHF on the boat with the antenna on the top of the mast. It turns out he could hear me calling him, but he would respond in his mic, which says it's going, but it's going nowhere. So he's got a problem. He's not sure what it is. It could be an antenna problem up the top or whatever. So absolutely wasn't able to communicate with VHF, and he was too busy. And it's not right to put not easy to put the Starlink out while he's sailing to the finish line. And it was all a bit bumpy last night. So anyway, he saw us on shore with a torch trying to give indications, but it's cool. And the other good thing that happened that I forgot to mention last night was that during the day it was a lee shore. The wind was blowing straight on shore at 90 degrees, so to the coastline, which made it very risk averse thing to do. Anchor there, not much fun. And then by the time he arrived, and as we're coming back, the wind had slowly been swinging. So the breeze was actually coming a little bit more parallel to the coast. So it's not so much a lee shore, but it sure would have been bouncy. It was quite a bit of a short, steep wind wave sea, because there's about probably maybe there's 4, 5, 6 miles of fetch. So if you can imagine, even though it's got the mountains up there and it's not ocean swells coming into the lagoon, you've got about 6 miles or so of ability of the wind to slowly make this wave. So it's quite bouncy out there. And anyway, I didn't explain as a blind transmission on what Kerry should do. In other words, had I have known he was receiving my calls but not have the ability to transmit, I could have given a blind call and said, "Hey, Kerry, just in case you can't transmit, this is what I want you to do. Just keep sailing, go over to the entrance of the channel, and you've got approval to come into the channel, and all would be well." But I failed to do that. I just figured, a lot of the entrants when they arrive, they don't listen to their VHF and they don't make that close-in VHF call. Sometimes, even depending on where we are, my handheld that you see me strapped here can't receive the calls from the entrance for whatever reason. There might be a hill in the way or whatever. But anyway, I just assumed that maybe he's busy. But in the end, I assumed that his comms are down, which was correct. So all's well. He's out there, and the weather's dropped off dramatically. It's probably only 15, gusting 20 now, and there's not so much white caps out there. So we'll head over to the office shortly as soon as this quick update is done. And I'm assuming Jacinta here will have coordinated the customs to come down in the morning, similar to last time, and then we'll look at whether we've got a driver for the tender to go out or whether we meet him on the way in. We'll sort that out. But anyway, either way, Kerry will be in today, which is fantastic. So we've got the first 4 boats, and let's see now where the others actually are. So I'm going to go to the tracker here. So you've got the tracker, and now I'm on the tracker. This was kind of interesting because you can see here, Kerry was making for the very end of the line, which is here. He could have kept going, boom. And I think we'll find out later. He may have thought he crossed it at that point. He may have thought he crossed over the line, because then he slowed down a bit and started to run along the line. And I'm thinking, oh, jeepers, what if he goes all the way across here to the west without crossing the finish line is wasting time. So lost a few minutes of his time at sea, and he came across, and you can see he anchored here, which is a little bit more protection there for an anchorage, because the wind was coming, instead of coming onshore straight up the channel as it had been doing all afternoon, it was swinging, and by the time he dropped the anchor, it was pretty much coming parallel over here. So it's a little bit more protection. And he said in his note he didn't have the depth of water out here, so he's got his echo sounder, but maybe that's not working. He's got a lead line, but it's a bit of a pain to pull that out and chuck it over the side to get the depth. But that's a safe position for the anchorage, and he'll come across here and come into the into VUDA Marina in the hour or so ahead, I would imagine. So stand by for that. I'll zip out here. There's the pass. If you hadn't seen it before, comes around here. I think it's Malolo Island. And cloud break, world famous surf break, is right there on the corner. It's amazing. So fantastic surf there. Okay, so Dan, the Canada Dan, not the holiday Dan, is just coming around the reef, but we'll leave that to the last. He sent me a message this morning saying it's been a very challenging 48 hours, which it has. So, okay, the boys are still in Papeete, so we don't have to go over there. Here we go, put the weather on, and just getting the wind come up. Put the grids on, I like that. And we've still got Josh is still in port, but Gary's coming. Oh, no, sorry, that's the boys over in Tahiti. I'm in the wrong scale. Here we come now. Mark's toodalooing along. Gary, headwinds. Boom, boom. So not a good thing. 2.5 knots and managed 68 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. So at least it's not strong headwinds by the look of it, but you never know. It's probably 10 to 15, maybe gusting a little bit higher, and the sea will probably be getting up a little bit. We'll just have a look while he's there, just to show you how grim or good it is. Yep, it's under 2 meters, so that's fine. It'll plod along, and it should be swinging. So we'll come back to the wind here. We'll check the weather out with the whole lot shortly. So Josh is still in Niafi, up in Vavau, and Jasmine making her way, but the wind, you can see here, it came through. Kerry got it first, but it came up from the southwest. You may remember that they were drifting around a lot yesterday, but now they've got a slight headwind, and that makes it a little bit challenging as well. So, but at least they got breeze, and that's going to swing around to the south, which will be on the beam, and then it'll slowly come around behind them. But it might take all day to actually do that swap around. So Jasmine's heading up here a little bit, doing 1.3 knots and 14 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. Is that the right thing? Yep, sure is. So not a lot of progress there. Should be calmed, and now they've got headwinds, so they'll be going slow in terms of vector may good towards Fiji. Urchin a little bit better, 2.3 knots and 23 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. So that's going to create some stories. Adam, 4.5 knots. He's cracked off, and the wind's swinging a bit more for them, holding on the beam. 4.5, 78 nautical miles. So this might be a bit false here, because I noticed they might not have the breeze there yet. This is showing this gradient of wind coming over, but maybe it's a different shape and going down, because I noticed yesterday with Canadan that he was doing really slow, getting around the corner, whereas Carey was flying. He had the breeze, and I reckon, yes, he could have been 2.5 knots to windward, but I think it was more the case that the breeze finally filled in a little bit later than what this is showing for those that were further to the east. But anyway, we'll see what they say as we get news back. Jacob, right on top of Eric, doing 3.8 knots and 74 mile day. Eric, 4 knots, 66 mile day. So they're all having a nice little race. Christian up to the north, 4.7 knots, 61 nautical mile day. And then we've got Dan over here doing 4.3 and a 55 nautical mile day. And he was struggling coming down here, very slow. And now he's got distance to finish 73. So if he's doing 5, he's doing 4 actually. So it's about 19 hours. So 19 is 5 off 24, so it'll be 5 hours earlier than this if he maintains 4 knots or so. 5 hours earlier than this, it's 8 o'clock, so that's 3 o'clock in the morning again. Anyway, we'll if I've got all that right, yes, I think I've got it right. Distance to the finish, 73 miles. If he was doing 10 knots, it'd be 7 hours. So, because Dan said he hoped to be in this afternoon, but there's not looking like that to me at the moment if I'm doing everything right. I'm lacking sleep and I'm staring at these numbers thinking, yeah, that's right. There's no way he's going to be in this afternoon. It's going to be in tonight. So let's keep an eye on that anyway and see how that goes. So let's see what the weather's doing here for everyone, including Gary over there. I'll come back one more size so we can see what is actually happening. Oh, bounce back up again. Boom, back here. Okay, so we'll push that through every 3 hours. It's just getting more solid over the whole zone, swinging a little bit to the south and increasing in strength. So there goes the first. There goes the first 24 hours. Yeah, definitely swinging eventually, but not today. It's going to start to swing tomorrow. Dan's going to get a bit of a push around, so that's kind of cool. And and plenty of breeze on the corner of Fiji there, so they're going to be really pushed around fast around the bottom. The rest of the fleet coming in over the next couple of days, so they'll have a fast sail into Fiji. No surprises anywhere. Gary will be all right. He'll be back on a roll. So all looking good. Yeah, there's plenty of breeze coming. So this is on the 18th. So that's in a couple of days, 2 to 3 days. That's where it's gusting 28, 30 knots again, maybe even a little bit higher because there's some dark spots in here. So there's plenty of breeze coming in the next 3 days, and that's being driven by what's causing that. It's hard to see. There's a pressure system. There's a system here, so pretty powerful. It must be strong. It's small. It's not a big one geographically, but it must be powerful in barometric pressure to generate that kick there, because there's nothing above it squeezing it. Nope, that's just solid breezes there. So there's some big winds coming. Stand by, Gary. Get your wet weather gear ready, and we'll see how it goes. Currents, no big deal. We'll just have a quick look to make sure. I'll pick that up there and see what it is. Oh, excuse me. Just stand by. This is for morning.
Hey, John.
Yep.
You can start asking him to get ready with his lines and everything.
Yep. Okay.
Because we will be calling him in about 7-10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. No problems. All right. He might take a bit. He's anchored a little bit further to the other side. So I'll call him now and see how we go.
Yeah, tell him to start moving then.
Sorry. Say again.
Tell him to start to move.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll tell him right now. Okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, bye-bye. Okay, we're going to chop this off, and can you go and go outside? Okay, so anyway, that's that. We got to go. I'm going to come back here to me, say a quick good day, and don't make you get your beauty sleep. Yeah, it's running short at the moment. But anyway, that's fine. I'm trying to do the bloody press release, and I can't get it done. There's too much going on. Anyway, all right, no big surprises there with the questions. Good day, everybody. Morning. And we got to go, so I'm going to sign off right now, and we're out of here. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.